Ladies and gentlemen, today we're taking a look at OM Mantra Dow, which got up as high as a little bit over $8 there. We look over here on CoinMarketCap. Its all-time high was $9.04. All-time low is 1.7 cents. That was 2 years ago. We haven't quite made it back down there, but man, from $9.04, we fell, and we're holding around 61 cents now. A lot of excitement going on in this chain as there was just a big, huge sell-off, and they haven't quite figured out what's going on there. A lot of speculation, a lot of FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. There are some good signs, at least the founder, or one of the founders there, JP Mullen, over on Twitter, trying to make an effort to keep the project alive and everything. Now, one of the things that's coming up that they've been talking about is burning. The burn program details are in the final stages. They started talking about this on April 18th. And will be shared in the near future. The buyback program will be well underway, working around the clock, blah, blah, blah. The only concern about this is if they do a lot of burning, if they start burning the token allocations that they have, or the teams allocations and everything, there's not going to be much incentive for developers, in my personal opinion. So that's something to keep an eye on. It could go against them as well. But they do have this little section over here, ommantrachain.io. They got a dashboard to help track everything for all you nerdy people who want to keep up with all that good stuff. Basically, I'm just looking at it for a trading aspect, because now it kind of sucks as an investment, dropping from where it was about $6 on down to 61 cents. Big drop there. Current market cap is no longer 6 billion. It's down to 588 million at the moment. The fully diluted value is 1.1 billion at the moment. Max supply is infinity. They got some tokenomic issues that seems to be creating some FUD too. And also the circulating supply is 963 million, which is, you know, that's on par. It's not bad. But man, what a tragedy here. This is what we were looking at on a bigger time frame here. Well, at least on the 6 hour, and back when things were good, and it looked like, you know, we're holding this level. We had a little fake out. I look for those things as a good sign. Broke back in a breakout, and then we lost that final level there. And you had to be on your toes to catch this, otherwise you thought it was just doing what it normally does. Turns out what has happened here with this project, from what I can gather, is that the DAO or the project itself does put money into market makers to help support price, so that when token unlocks come, well, the price doesn't drop. Well, apparently somebody got a hold of a bunch of coins, and it must have been Spot, even though they're blaming it on futures, because only Spot could have this effect, selling off this many coins, because that was a humongous sell-off there. Some of the key areas to have caught it was 616. That was definitely an area trend line. When you break past it, that would have, 569. The biggest one would have been this bottom trend line here. Any stop losses set through there would have helped you. But not everybody had those, or was even thinking about that or applying that strategy, right? 515 was the last line in the sand there, and as it was tumbling. Now, it came all the way down to about 31 cents, and that does suck for anybody in this. This was one of my bigger plays too. But here we are at the bottom of this area. The good news that we can say about it so far is that so far we've been making higher lows. And we're going to take a look at the price action here. I don't know if this project will ever make it back. Usually when something goes through this, it kind of turns into a little trading coin. Think of Luna C, Terra Luna, Luna Classic, and all that. They turned into little, degen trading coins. Whether this project makes it back or not, I don't know, but we can figure out what it's doing in the short term. So if you are trying to make a few bucks, because there are some trades here, as far as an investment, that may be shot, just to be honest with you, if you look at the price history on and how these coins work on everything. But let's pull a few key areas here, and you can see when I pull a swing low to swing high here, we got a nice bounce off this area, the 786 Fibonacci. That's a nice bottom area. I'm going to go ahead and paint that little guy, and that gives us a little something to work with here. From this point, I'm going to also get us some nice little juicy targets lines here. to work with. Ooh, very nice here. And these will be some possible areas, likely areas that are on the roadmap that we can hit if we do get our little bump up. There's a chance, it's very minute, but what we look for, if we are coming up, if we are making a series of higher highs, we got up to $1 back on the 15th. Now, if we are actually recovering, and if they do a token buyback and all those things that they're talking about, there's a chance that we could get this higher high area, and that would be around $1.05, $1.11. So I do want to mark those guys, because if we do get a higher high, that's the ones we're looking for right there. Let's change this back to something that looks a little bit more let's see, this would definitely be a take profit zone right here. We want to label that. This little area right here would be another little take profit. And then we'll get this little zone right here. This would be the very first take profit. This would probably be where you see a lot of resistance. A lot of heavy resistance, especially when we're starting out here. So this would probably be your very first take profit level right there. So what do we got here, ladies and gentlemen? And of course, we are in a nice little area to accumulate for right now. But I do want to put this little area on the radar. Let me do a little different pull here to get these lower targets for us, just in case we start going a little under with the weather here. We want to come back to our original pull here, this little guy, and I want to look at these areas right here. So there is a chance that if she continues down, and she might, that these two areas are right here will be where we're going to, between about 57 cents on up to about almost 58 there. Let me make sure I've got these numbers labeled out right here. Yeah, about 52 to almost 57. And the lower lows, we probably want to talk about that. It could be as low as 33 to 40 cents if we do break down. So those are the scenarios that we're looking for targets. And now want to apply a few things to kind of help us out a little bit on how to trade this. So ultimately, we lost a trend line there, so that's no good. We're trading below that. So we'll draw us a new trend line from right here to right down here. You can see we've not broken out that yet. So it is showing some bearish sentiment. Now, when I come over to Tokenmetrics, and I should have done this earlier and asking about OEM, because they were trading or investing in. OEM is currently facing significant challenges with a Tokenmetrics trader grade of just 17.28. The sentiment is bearish. The token recently experienced a 90% crash, raising concerns about its stability. And while trading activity remains high, caution is advised due to potential volatility and market manipulation. So be careful trading this one. But some of us are DGNs, and some of us might be doing a little revenge trading. I don't know, whatever your motivation is, be careful. But it can continue on down. It did bounce at a good area, like we said, but these are some areas that it may be worth putting in. Now, here is one strategy that I would recommend. This is what I'm doing. Doesn't mean that you have to do it. But since we are basically in a range until they get everything straightened out, my approach is more of the pyramid approach. And it works well with spot and spot margin, where I do have these take profit areas. I am planning on selling there and then also buying a little at these lower areas. As far down as the 32-cent area, should we happen to go there. Now, if we do come down to 57, where we've been before and can go again, and we do happen to make it back up to this 80% area, now there's some pretty good profit to be made in here. It's about the 30, 40, 35, on up to 45% move just within this range right here. You can do some pretty good right there, right? $100 turns into $150 depending on what you're putting into it. But if we do come up to actually make to some of the areas that we were at before, and we can do that, 57 to 67% up there to the 91 to 94 cent area. And if we do happen, if their buyback thing gets, you know, a little bit more attention spurred to this, we could actually see us come up to 104, 111. That could be 93, 82% gains there. So $100 could double if you do it just using spot. I recommend that you be careful. We don't really have a solid area for me to draw another, you know, new trend line, so we'll just keep an eye on this. But we're on the 1 hour chart, and this should do pretty good throughout the weekend. I'm going to zoom out to the 4 hour just to get a feel. The bear sentiment's coming. We're below the 9-moving average, and that's not helping us. But if we can get above that, get that breakout, it may happen during this weekend, as we're seeing the total 3 was starting to look a little frisky, getting a breakout, and that does mean that over this weekend that altcoins should start looking pretty good, and hopefully that will carry over as well to OM Mantra DAO. If you like this little update and this little thing, hit that comment, leave a comment, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and come out and check out my nightly live streams, usually about 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And have fun with the group. And hopefully, let me just label these little guys right over here, some of these higher take profit areas. And that way you can take a screenshot or just make a mental note of some really good areas. But for short term, again, coming back for weekend traders, what we're looking for. We don't have the signs we need yet. We need to get above this 9-moving average. That's that green line. Get above this white line, which is our trend line. Get a little breakout. We could maybe see 68, 70 cents again. I would expect that to be doable over the weekend. Maybe get a higher high than this, which would be a good sign, about 74. So weekend trading, a little, but we've got a chance to maybe get up to some of these areas. Not the greatest returns there, 10%, 15%, maybe 20%. There might be some faster horses, but then again, everybody's got a different reason to be in what they're in. And if you're Mantra DAO, happy I'll give you a little bit of insight that might be helpful. Do keep an eye on these areas. That might be a good place to get in. Currently, we are, let me go ahead and drag this little guy down in this nice little beautiful channel, and you can see when you apply the bottom of it, you can see how we could come down here. So be cautious, be careful. I'll see you on the next one.